Up onto your screen as fast as possible, but Irelia was a pick we were saying was highly contested, was either going to be banned away or first pick, and it shows you just how much Giants do not want to play against Kubon's Irelia.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were saying before. No small surprise, but here we come. Zed coming up against Take Fun, his big assassin mid laner, pretty much banned out by every team who's seen him so far in the expansion tournament, followed by John coming out here by Reason Gaming, and of course another mid lane ban at Take Fun.
But the mid lane ban of Fizz here isn't exactly standard meta. This is against Take Fun. He likes to play assassins, but LeBlanc is also on that list. We're in a situation where Na or LeBlanc now have to be banned out by our red side, and will we see Pepinero take away LeBlanc as a first pick here if Na is the 6th ban here for Reason Gaming?
You know what else is open for Pepinero? Okay, the Xerath gets taken away, but here's the LeBlanc immediately taken away and given to Pepinero.
The question is, though, this gives away Na to the top laner here, and Kubon, it's in his champion pool. Every top laner plays it, and it's exceptionally strong. So they've given away one of the top mid picks in LeBlanc right now. Great dragon control, a lot of poke, but they've given away the absolute 100% pick or ban or first pick champion in Na. You've got to wonder now, have Giants prepared for this situation where Na was available?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone was really expecting the Fizz ban over LeBlanc, because we know that's his first two, and then it's the Fizz underneath. But either way, we are now looking at our first two picks coming in from Reason Gaming, and it's a no-brainer. They pick up the Na here as their first pick, and they're hovering over the second. Yeah,
I'm wondering, Lissandra is a pick that can do okay-ish against Na. Na still very much so has the stronger matchup and just general game, and taking this away leaves Giants in a very desperate situation here. They have to figure out something for the top lane, but they seem to have planned this out.
Yeah, they immediately respond with Pantheon and Thresh, and we were saying, okay, this seems like a little bit of a weird banning phase, but as you said, they have planned this out. They are right in with the picks. They have the LeBlanc, Pantheon, and Thresh to join the lineup.
And they've got a lot of early game kill pressure here as well. We spoke about it. Pantheon, level 2, level 3 ganks, maybe after first buff, could catch out the mid laner. However, if it's going to be Lissandra in the mid lane, she should have enough escape so that it shouldn't pressure her out too much from that middle lane. Another thing that we've seen a lot from supports, and Krepo was talking about this a little bit, is a lot of roaming. Giants with Thresh now going to look to roam quite heavily within that first few minutes after double buffs.
So Reason Gaming seem a little bit taken aback by this whole phase here, and they are taking the maximum time to lock in their picks. But take a look at this, Stress. Here comes a Lulu. I know you want to take this one away.
Yeah, I do. This is somewhat of a flex pick right now. It could be support, not expecting it though. Top and mid have been locked in. This is going to be a jungle Lulu out from Zayu. Expect Libic to pick up a melee range or at least tank support, and this is one of the champions that Zayu has been working on so much recently. It's got great mobility, has really good ganks and counter ganks thanks to Polymorph, great clear speed, has a lot of utility, and has damage in the kit as well. This is something I've seen Reason play time and time again, and it's done very well for them.
Yeah, and they're throwing it out on the fly of coming into this champion select. They also pick up the Graves now from the bottom lane. We've of course seen him in the top 3 AD carries, of course, including the Lucian, including the Corki as well. Graves has also found himself in the top 3.
And right now, these 4 champions locked in by Reason are very hard to kill. Graves in lane is going to have his passive. Na, difficult to kill. Lissandra has the mobility, and top that off, you've got a Lulu who's going to go with likely a tank support. But let's take a look. Giants have locked in another 2.
They have indeed. Here comes the Jinx, followed by Jax coming into the top lane. The only other player, of course, who we've seen is JWoww coming in from Gamers 2. So we'll see what Whirly does with this pick.
So Jax is a champion that has started to come back a little bit. He's got better late game scaling thanks to the adjustments to his kit on 4.21. Added a little bit more on the ratios to some of his abilities. So that's something that they're going to have to watch out for. His early game is going to be a little tricky against Na, but we've seen a lot more lane swaps. We've seen a lot more in the way of players moving around in those 2v1. So we'll watch out for what Giants want to do.
But what does this mean for the compositions as a whole, Stress? Because you were mentioning the Lulu coming in here, you need to have that tank top, you need to have that tank support to make that happen. These are the key criteria for that Lulu pick. What does that mean for the team of Reason Gaming with the Lulu in the jungle here?
It means they have a crazy engage potential, not just from Lulu being able to set up, ganks, but when it comes to team fights, you look at Alistair engage into Gnar follow-up is insane if they can land that.
Yeah, Wildgrowth Cowl will be very fun to see, but on the opposing side, we've got the Giants coming in here with the Jax as well, so no doubt we'll be seeing some split push.
Yeah, there's a lot of kill potential, though, in the early game before they get to the split push, and they have to set Whirlybee's game up far in advance. You can't kind of just say, well, we'll ignore that top lane because Gnar's up there and he is a lane bully. So in this situation, Pantheon is going to have to try and get kills mid. They're going to have to get a Pepinero going in this game, and he's going to have to help out the rest of the lanes.
Well, guys, we are into game 1 of this best of 5, the very first game of the EU LCS expansion tournament between Giants and Reason Gaming. For, of course, Giants, it will be Whirlybee in the top lane, Frederick in the jungle, ex-Pepinero in the mid lane, Adrian AD carry, and of course Ryle, his support in the bottom lane.
And over on the red side, you have Reason Gaming, Kuban in the top lane, Zayu in the jungle, Take Fun in the mid lane, Celaver and Libic down in that bottom lane.
Yes, indeed. So make sure to join the conversation over on Twitter at LOL Esports using the hashtag LCS expansion and tell us what you think over there.
So, one of the big changes on the preseason jungle has been, where do the bot lanes start? Where does the jungler start? Do you set the lane swap? Early game wards. And for this game, Giants clearly have something prepared, but maybe Celaver's already spotted it out.
Well, Adri is taking point here, heading into this jungle. Celaver's there to meet him, though. So we'll see if they go for this all-in invade. However, Frederick is hanging around the top jungle, so it looks like it's just going to be for Vision for now.
One thing we've seen a couple of teams do from time to time is invade on the Gromp camp here. That's something we actually saw a fair amount over in the Four Nations tournament that we were casting last weekend. Teams invade to prevent the duo bot lane from getting that experience from Gromp. You can then look to perhaps pressure out a jungler if they're trying to start blue at all. That's not too often, but the main thing is you want to try and deter as much experience. Get a read on exactly where your opponents are starting.
So after that initial influx of action from Giants, at least pushing forward, getting that vision down, they'll be sitting in their own jungle and just playing the ward game. So Celaver and Libic sitting around the Gromp camp and trying to take this one away. We'll see if Giants try and interrupt them. So
we're seeing Jax do what Maokai's have really started to do. You start on the Raptors camp to get a little bit of experience because obviously Gnar in that top side is going to be able to help out a little bit on Krugs. But he's taken a flask here, so he's going to want to farm up fairly safely here. He's got the added sustain that a Jax is going to need. You don't want to opt for a Doran's item because you just cannot survive that lane. But he's going to have to use that teleport to get up to the top lane if he wants to get there on time.
So, more importantly, we're looking at this jungle Lulu pick coming out here. Look at Whirlybee as well, taking away a camp and going back to base, because of course that's going to be a difficult matchup for him in the top lane. But this jungle Lulu heading in here, clearing the camps pretty well. We've seen the jungle TF, of course, and now all ranged junglers seem to have a foothold. Celaver gets hooked in the bottom lane, will be receiving just a little bit harassed from Adri.
And you can see there the extra experience that Rydell actually had, made sure he made that count.
Yeah, Libic just going to come in with the Pulverize, just butting heads at the moment in the bottom lane. Here comes the Flay, but nothing to write home about just yet. Kuban is taking a lot of damage coming in from Whirlybee here. The hop comes away, and that'll be the early game trade.
So this is why you take that first camp. You get the added experience because you know Gnar is away helping his jungler, so he can't really set the lane up quite as well as he would want to. So Jax actually has kind of survived through this very early game phase that Kuban should have had somewhat of an advantage.
So, of course, in the mid lane is going to be basically the focal point of this game. Take Fun and Pepinero going in here. Of course, the LeBlanc was taken away from Take Fun, one of his big champions. Let's put him on Lissandra.
Here comes Frederick into the middle lane, though, and this is what we've seen time and time again out of Giants here. So, will we see him actually go for the gank?
Well, here comes the combo. Frederick is still lying in wait, but he does have the flash if he wants to get in range quickly. Take Fun, of course, has both of his summoners up, and Frederick is ready to go. But, as we know, he does like to spend basically all of his time in middle lane into the early game.
Yeah, and that's a fairly early read here from Reason Gaming. They know that Giants are going to want to put Frederick in that middle lane. But I want to talk a little bit about Zayu on this Lulu. It's not something that's seen all that much, and I was talking to him not too long ago about the ins and outs of that jungle Lulu, as we do have a brief pause. Hopefully we can get that all sorted out. But jungle Lulu, very different to what we normally see. I think a lot of people will I don't want to say credit Kikis because he was the first one to bring these ranged junglers in IEM San Jose, but it's something that a lot of junglers have been working on. Ranged champions, of course, you get decent clear, you can kite the minions around, you get, of course, the stun from Krugs, but the problem Lulu has is she is very mana intensive if you want to clear using her spells. Where that kind of leads is if Frederick can find Xayah in the jungle without mana early on, then he can land a lot of damage and put Xayah in a lot of trouble. But Xayah says he will pick this into any pick.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, if he does get caught by the opposing jungle, at least the early game, he's going to become a very dead Yordle very quickly.
Yeah, now it's interesting actually with the changes to jungle items, Xayah actually will still go Ranger's Trailblazer on Lulu because he needs the extra clear help and really just needs the additional help, as I said. Clear through the jungle, it's also just very good in general.
Well, looked like it was a minor issue because we are now back into game and ready to get this underway once again. So again, the laning phase still coming through, but take a look at Xayah heading into the bottom lane here.
Yeah, he can't quite get in this early on because it is difficult, but I don't believe he was actually spotted on the way down there. They will ward out for him now, but top lane.
Yeah, Frederick coming in from behind. Kuban is trying his best to get away here, but he will have to flash away. Will he commit Frederick's flash because he wants to be focusing that on mid lane? In fact, he doesn't, and Kuban will hop on over the wall.
So a little bit of a different timing out of Frederick here. We were somewhat expecting him to be spending a lot of time mid, but I guess this is something that is also characteristic from him. We are expecting him mid.
And here he comes. Take Fun is trying to get away here. Has already used the Glacial Path, and Frederick will come in with a Heartseeker strike, ramping up in damage. Doesn't have any mana left, and doesn't have the flash either. This should be a dead Lissandra. If Xayah can say anything about it, though, coming in from behind, and will be able to deter him with the Glitter Lance.
That's the utility, but bottom lane.
Bottom lane, Livic comes in with his combo. Sullivan's still trading off, and Adri is dropping low. Here comes the heal. Here comes the Ignite on top of that, and that's a good trade for Reason Gaming.
Oh, they can't do anything from that hook. That was a little bit too far away, but that engage in the middle lane, you see the utility Xayah has here. One shield is enough to completely deter Pepinero and Frederick from chasing Take Fun from that fight. They, however, get the summoners. That is a good start for them, and again, they can continue to put pressure on that middle lane.
That's probably one of the biggest wins for Reason Gaming in the early game, though, because we know that the early game is what Giants need to do. Look back at the Millennium games. They basically put them off kilter from minute one.
Something about the junglers so far as we see Pantheon has just picked up the Stalker's Blade is that Lulu has been able to farm up very easily through this early game. Xayah hasn't been pressured like perhaps we'd expect Frederick to look to do. And from here, Xayah has a great platform to start building more AP. That's how he's going to build. He's going to build the Magus enchant, which isn't one we see all that much out of the jungle, into a full AP style. And that's because of how tanky the rest of his lineup is.
Yeah, just going to be using that Nara and the Alistair, the frontline cow, to tank all of that damage. Whirly Bee coming in here, putting out the damage onto Kuban, but that is not a lane that is really going to be won by him in a short amount of time. Kuban, however, is not level 6, so he can't slam him against the wall.
Bot lane, we haven't really seen too much of this game, and I think Crepo mentioned it in the pregame. The Jinx is a little bit of a different pick. It's going to have good scaling into the late game, and from the lineup of Giants, you can see that a Jax and a Jinx in the late game, if you can get a Baron buff, if you can get a few dragons and get that additional damage, you can do a good job of tower pushing with this composition that Giants have in the late game. If they can get Whirly Bee off into a side lane, the rest of the team, if they're ahead, into another, Giants could be in a great spot in the late game.
So Pepinero just going to go ahead and clear out these wards, has the defensive pink ward coming in here, but there's not been a whole lot of vision games so far, apart from the level 1 aggression we had, and pink wards from both of these guys. Take a look at this though, Stress. We do have Xayah opting for the mobility boots as a second item.
Yeah, so there's been a question between junglers of, do you finish the enchantment first, do you get mobility? In this situation, Xayah needs the added mobility. Lulu is fairly fast as well, but these ganks are going to be so quick coming into lane from Xayah that he doesn't need the extra damage right now. He's just there for the shield, the polymorph, and when he gets it, the ultimate as well.
Well, Xayah whimsying into this camp here, trying to disrupt that away, and we'll get down the smite, saying, I control your jungle, and Giants will just have to go back to lane with nothing to come away with that prize.
Not at all. Alistar has gone boots is another thing that we have seen a couple of players do. I believe it was NA expansion where Alistar went boots before Sightstone. This is going to tell us that Libic wants to roam quite a lot here. He wants to be active on the map, get himself into other lanes, potentially mid lane again, and that would be a good spot for Reason. They need to shut down Pepinero and push the rest of Giants' composition later into the game.
And so far, we're 8 minutes into the game, and Frederick, yes, he's been hanging around mid lane, but now he's taking a look at top. He's realized, I can't really do anything against Take Fun with the Glacial Path, and now he has the Frozen Tomb. But both of the junglers are converging on the top lane.
Yeah, Zayu's here to gank, but it looks like he might be here for a counter gank at the same time because Frederick goes by unnoticed.
Yep, he just went right past him. Frederick comes in for the counter gank. Zayu will have to flash away here, but it needs one spear shot to take him down. Here comes First Blood, and Kuban has to slunk back to his turret.
The difference in this situation is Kuban outside of Mega Gnar doesn't really have enough to tank any of the damage here, and that means they can turn their focus onto Zayu. There is almost no threat from Kuban in that situation. And an early game Lulu, no ultimate is an easy kill.
Oh, Pepinero coming into the mid lane will be walking the dog here. Back to the turret. In comes the hook as well. Drags him back in. Take Fun doesn't have the flash and no way to get away. Delaying the inevitable. You have to feel here stress with the Frozen Tomb. Pepinero finds himself the first kill on his champion.
Doesn't need to be Pantheon, but Pantheon for the top lane is looking to get up there soon. He's looking at ult.
Here is the Grand Skyfall right on top of Kuban. Will get the slow down. Has to flash away and should be good to go, but that's a big summon the burn.
It is, but Frederick is now not going to be able to get into another lane anytime soon. He's got to go back to farming a little bit. He has picked up that Stalkers, so looking to get that extra gank potential, and should be, there we go, finishing up the Brutalizer as well.
Yes, indeed. Kuban's going to go ahead and teleport back to lane here. We take a look at the mid lane. It will be Pepinero picking up his Morellonomicon. Has that first kill, converting that into a 9-minute Morellonomicon. Not too bad. Of course, on the other side, Take Fun only has his Fiendish Codex.
Alistar is starting to roam. He's got mobility boots now. You can see he's already warding up the enemy jungle around the Raptors camp. And they want to secure as much vision as possible, but they have to make sure it counts for them, because without the Sightstone this early on, it is a little bit of a reduction to the amount of vision they're going to have on the map. And one of the things that is a lot more difficult now on 4.21 are those early game dragons. So you can afford to put deeper wards into the enemy jungle to try and spot out where the jungler is on their camps. So it's one of those little different weird dynamics that we're seeing a lot of teams focus a lot more on keeping the Scuttle Crab for vision in front of Dragon, rather than actually expending a whole bunch of wards outside of trinkets.
You may have also just seen there that Pepinero used Double Distortion to get a deep ward out here, and will be right behind the bottom lane. So we'll be able to try and utilize that just in case Zayu decides to go for a sneaky gank down there. But top lane right now, Kuban and Whirly just going toe-to-toe still. Whirly has gone back to base and picked up his first component of his Trinity Force.
Yeah, he's gone for the Sheen, so he's going to try and spike as much damage onto Kuban and then disengage. But here comes Frederick up to the top lane.
In from behind. Kuban, of course, does not have his flash, and that is a dead Yordle. 3-0, Giants taking the lead.
And this is one of the adaptations that we were talking about, Giants, is will they go for that mid lane playstyle? And Frederick's been focusing a lot more top lane, but it's mid lane that Zayu wants to get his focus on. If Pepinero goes in here, this could be a very precarious situation.
But Pepinero is ahead of the game, or is he? Because Frozen Tomb comes out, has to flash away, but will get that stealth down from the passive. Frederick allows a little bit too late. Libic, though, with the pulverized combination. Rydell with a long-range Lantern will get him back to safety. 1-0 to Reason Gaming.
There's the utility, though, of Lulu. Somebody's about to die. The ultimate comes out. Shield your ally as well, but it's not over.
The hook comes in, and it will be Libic tanking up the turret, just allowing Zayu to get away. Spear shot comes down. Rydell's last auto attack. That's another kill going over to Giants.
Little bit of overstaying there out of Reason, though. They didn't have the cooldowns available for Lulu, and that's when she's squishy.
So after a slow start to this game stress where it was just Reason Gaming get a little bit further ahead in their lanes, all this action has meant that Giants are getting exactly what they need, which is those early game kills and that early game pressure and momentum.
All of this action around the mid and top lane, though, has meant that both AD carries have been very confident and comfortable just farming up here. But you can see that Celaver is getting the best of it. 111 CS to 98 right now. They're about even on items. But when it comes to the amount of burst potential that Reason are going to have, Giants have got to be a little bit careful in these team fights, because a Celaver that's ahead is going to start doing a lot of damage.
So they will, of course, as you mentioned, did go back to base mid lane as well. You can see Pepinero here just jumping and dipping and diving through the enemy jungle. Kubon trying to clear that one out. Zayu coming in to assist. So denying as much vision as they can, making sure that this game doesn't slip away from them before it even really starts. And Pepinero rather, again, trying to get that damage down onto the jungler. Take Fun just roaming up as well, and everything goes back to normal.
Kubon is coming out almost second best. In fact, he is coming out second best. He's down in CS and down in that death as well. That really, Nah for so long has been 100% pick ban top, and I was actually expecting perhaps, as we see the ultimate coming out, it's going top.
Here comes Pantheon. The Mandrock comes down right on top of Nal's head. We'll be following with the Heartseeker strike as well. Whirlybee chimes in for the second kill. A swift 2-0, but take a look at bot lane. Livic will be knocking Rydell back, but out of vision range. Celaver still comes in with a collateral damage to take out the support. A 1-for-2 map wide.
Yeah, and it's all to do with the Rage Bar again. They're doing a great job top.
It's not over yet because Frozen Tomb from Take Fun, but he misses the Ice Shard. And does he have the extra damage? Bot lane as well. Action left, right, and center. Livic will not take all the damage from Adri's ultimate, and he's still getting chunked down by Celaver, who should be able to finish him off. One more auto attack, but he's CC'd under the turret. Here comes the teleport as well to try and clear up this bottom lane from Jax, but Whirlybee's low himself. He could be taken out, but he's still on the aggression. Another teleport from Kubon. This is just getting insane here, Stress. And Whirlybee the flash. He's looking for the second. Livic will be jumping over the wall and getting away from this one. Kubon doesn't manage to come in the right angle, and Whirlybee gets away with it.
It's so scrappy all across the map, and it goes all the way back to that kill on Kubon. They catch him without the rage meter built up. Again, Lulu and Nah without Nah and Mega Nah is just not strong enough to take the Pantheon Jax engage. And from there, gosh, where do we go? Bottom lane, kills all around. Two teleports used. Whirlybee got the kill. That's the important thing. He used the teleport, got the kill, and got out alive as well. So that was a well-timed teleport, but both top laners, it's mid again.
Yeah, Pepinero will be putting down that leash on to that mid laner of Take Fun on Lissandra. This time won't be able to go all in, is hurting a little bit on mana, but of course has the blue buff to get himself back up to fighting shape. Livic here will be placing down the wards as well, keeping up with that vision game. More importantly, making sure they have it all around this dragon pit, because we haven't seen one go down just yet, Stress. And 15 minutes, yes, we've had a lot of action, but that's kind of a slow dragon.
You just stole my next point. I was about to say, we're 15 minutes in, nobody has tried a dragon attempt at all. And it's all due to the changes. You can't kite dragon back and forth. Pantheon can't do it at like level 3 anymore, so that's not really an option. And the fact of the matter is, there's been so much action up in the top lane, a lot of teleports and ultimates used to get up to the top lane, that neither team has actually found the space to try for a dragon yet. But both, jungler and top lane are looking perhaps to converge on mid lane right now. I wonder, are they going to go in?
Yeah, both of them, the junglers are converging here. Take Fun is sitting wisely close to his turret, but to solo laners will be placing down their vision control. Here comes Rydell in the bottom lane though. Livic comes in with the pulverize, the flash pulverize combination. Zayu flashes into the fray as well, but this is a complete turnaround. Rydell has to go back to his turret, but he may even look for the dive here. Livic doesn't have his ultimate, but the double kill comes out for Celaver regardless. A 2-0.
Again, you can see the difference. Reason when they have the Lulu ultimate, have this insane gank and fight potential with this bottom lane combination, but this time they're making it work out for them. Turret has gone down in the middle lane. That might open up a lot of pressure now for Reason to turn towards Dragon in the next couple of minutes.
And that in turn looks like we'll be having this bottom turret going down as well, just to the minions, and Celaver will be collecting that bounty as well. That extra 100 gold will not go to waste. Taking a look at gold as well, top lane Whirlybee just went back to base, picked up his Trinity Force, and now 600 gold in his back pocket means he has his first big item. However, we do have Pepinero, and now the bottom lane here. We do have Pantheon off to the side, and here comes the Grand Skyfall. We'll be landing right on top of Celaver. Here comes the stun as well. Super Mega Death Rocket is a dead E carry very quickly.
And that is a combination the Reason have got to be careful for. This may very well open up the Dragon for Reason Gaming. Great use of the Pantheon ultimate once again. Some really key items have been picked up. You mentioned the Trinity Force. That is such a big part of Jax's kit right now, that he is going to be able to sit out on his own against pretty much anyone in this game right now. over on the side of the supports, the distortion boots on Libic means his flash pulverizes are going to be very difficult to deal with here. And then the follow-up from Kuban in Megaform going to be so tough for Giants to take any of these team fights.
And Celeber being 4-2 right now, take a look at his Ghost Blade as well. He's decided to pick that up as his second item. We draw attention to top lane. It's only them. There's no junglers around. That means that they're probably not going to be dying one-on-one.
Speaking of junglers, the other player who picked up a fairly key item is Zayu. He has finished that Magus upgrade for his jungle item, Take Fun.
Glacial Path over the wall. Rydell will get the hook, but he's going to go down before he can get anything else done. Surely here comes Take Fun's ultimate to secure that kill. 1-0, but Whirlybee in from the bottom side gets punted away. Huge damage coming out from Take Fun, finds his double kill. The third kill goes to Libic. A quick 3 kills, and he should be able to pick up this dragon with no contest.
Yeah, especially if Frederick backs away from this, but Take Fun knew his positioning there, knew he could go aggressive on this Lissandra, and you have to be careful when playing against a Lissandra. She can lock you down so easily, so quickly, and the rest of the team just follow up for the kill. But they don't take dragon. Again, we're so far into this game, and neither team has been able to take that first dragon of the game.
Well, Zayu dropped very low from that last fight, and he had to go back into his camp and just use his smite on a minion camp because he couldn't go for that. But it does leave it up, and if Reason Gaming feel confident enough to go toe-to-toe with the lineup of Giants, why not?
In some respects, Reason not being able to take dragon there is actually going to benefit Giants more than you may think, because Giants have this late game composition that if they're not getting pressured out this huge amount from the dragon buffs, then Jax and Jinx are still going to be as strong as ever. Their late game isn't getting forced back and further into the game, but without any kind of dragons, Giants may very well just be able to outscale.
So, just saw the support of Libic just putting down a little bit of damage onto Adri, but again, the focal point is of course this dragon. We're getting up off the ground. Zayu is deciding to head into that dragon pit. The rest of the team is converging around the side, and this is dying very quickly. Pepinera over the wall tries to get the steal, but it gets smited away by Zayu. So no real contest, but in turn, Giants take away a turret in the top lane.
And that's the added global gold that the turrets here on 4.21 are going to give. That would look a little bit precarious for Adri then, but managed to get himself away. So, tower for first dragon at 20 minutes into the game. That is Giants' first tower. That is something we should keep a track of as well. But Giants certainly look like they want to fight Reason here, and you have to think that if any person shows up in top lane, they may very well just go for that fight in the bottom side jungle.
Well, Whirlybee did head towards the red buff. I believe he got a ward down as well, but that has now only just spawned, and Celeber will be taking this one away. In fact, he was just checking for it, didn't get the ward out, so didn't take anything more from that top turret. Again, the buffs have spawned, so everyone will be doing the housekeeping and taking those away, donating them to the respective laners. And looking at Pepinera right now is looking towards probably his Deathfire Grass, has the Neasley Large Rod, plus an Amp Tome as well.
We said coming into this game that Pepinera would have to be pretty much mainstay, the banner here for Giants. And honestly, Take Fun has been doing exceptionally well on what could potentially have been a flex pick. They wanted to make sure Giants didn't get the top lane Lissandra. And from that situation, Take Fun isn't exactly on his, top champions. Is Zed, the LeBlanc. He's playing up against them, and he's actually done a really good job here. 3-1-1, has that Zhonya's Hourglass finished as well. That just makes him even more difficult to kill here for Reason.
I guess the other question coming into this game is this Lulu pick, because we talked about it in Champion Select. It's 0-3-6 right now. It had a pretty good assist rate coming into this game. 6 out of the 8 kills is not bad. And of course, those wild growths saving the lives of multiple members, but has it paid off compared to a quote-unquote conventional jungler?
Well, it's a lot more selfless in the jungle than typical jungle picks are. Normally, you'll see somebody that has a lot of engage, like a Jarvan or a Lee Sin, where you can get a load of kills and it's great. As long as Lulu can get the the shields and the ultimate off in team fights, and the rest of Reason do their job, that's Zayu's job done.
Yeah.
If he dies, from there he's only there for polymorph in the second rotation of shields. But if the rest of the team are getting so far ahead, that's a great thing for Reason. It's not quite that situation, though. We haven't seen Reason have that big team fight getting Gnar involved in Mega Gnar form. So they actually have to group and get their team composition going because they can't leave Jax on his own to split push. He's far too strong right now in the current situation.
Well, Zayu isn't going to do much when he gets instantly bursted down from a pick from Rydell. That means that Whirly off to the backside has found himself Celaver. Flash forwards, tries to get a counter strike, and DD will assassinated by the mid laner of Peppinero as well. Now they're just running Reason Gaming down. Livic will be tanking up the rest of the team. Of course, using that unbreakable will, but when you're CC'd, eventually you're going to die. Not even Livic can stand up to Giants here, but the flash over the wall will be able to get him to safety. 2-0 though. What can Giants do from this?
Zayu died with Flash and his ultimate available in that situation. He just couldn't get anything off after that hook, and Giants, rightly so, are going to head back to their game plan. Get another turret here. This will be their second of the game, and it makes it infinitely more difficult now if they can get Jax into a solo lane and push together. And you can see that's exactly what Jax is going to do right now. Difficult for Reason to actually do anything. It's difficult to take fun.
Leash, and down goes Take Fun. He'll be dropping in the upper jungle. Was not expecting that burst. Now he heads into the middle lane. Kubon is in that ultimate form, but it means he's extremely slow. Will be using the ultimate, gets it on 3 people, but there's no terrain around. But he picks up the kill into Frederick regardless. Here comes the Wild Growth. He comes in for 1 kill. Can he look for more with Celaver coming back from base as well? Livic is trying to get the CC, but is waiting for the cooldowns. Won't be able to get another, but that was a team fight that didn't look like it was going to go the way of Reason.
The Gnar ultimate is a game changer, though. One hit on well, a couple of people hit with that Gnar ultimate is enough to really turn the fight around. The problem Reason have here is that they're still pushing in bottom.
Super Mega Death Rocket only tanks Lulu on the way out, but again, Livic gets drawn into the team. No unbreakable will this time. Adri comes in with the last auto attack, gets excited, looking for another kill, flashes forwards, gets his second, gets excited again. Whirly with the wall jump. Zaya trying to get away here, but they're just keeping them down. Whirly is still on the chase. Leap strike, and the Empower takes him out.
The difference in that fight was the top laners using teleport in different areas. Kubon used his to get to the bottom lane and stop Jax. Over on the side of Giants, Whirly is free to teleport into that team fight and clean it up. Jinx at the same time picks up a whole bunch of kills during that fight, and this could be the first dragon here of the first Baron.
Oh, Peppinero on God's watch, but he's taken out with Take Fun taking him down. Kubon over the wall. Can he come with the Miracle Steal? No, he cannot, and maybe he'll pay his life for it as well. Here comes the Randuins. The Glacial Path comes away. The Zap doesn't land, and he's on out, but Giants come in with the Baron.
Kubon will be breathing a sigh of relief from that extra movement speed he gets from swapping out of the passive. But in this situation, that is a very difficult to deal with Giants team right now. They have got the Baron buff, and let's take another look at that fight in the middle lane. Peppinero, so much damage onto Celaver. And really, how do you stop that at this point? And Rydell's hooks have been on point this game. He has landed so many from this situation. Got the one on Zayu earlier, and Peppinero out of mana, so he can't quite follow up, but who can follow up is Adri on Jinx. And from there, it's easy work here for Giants to end up taking that Baron.
Yes, indeed. And as you mentioned, Whirly came in from the bottom lane just to clean up there. And now that will mean the Baron going over to Giants, and now they're looking to take away this Dragon as well. Reason Gaming were beating them to the punch, but now with Giants in this area, they might be able to contest for this. Both junglers have their smite, and it's going to come down to the smiting war. Looks who's going to take. It's going to be Frederick coming in with that steal. And Reason Gaming, they're losing a middle turret as well.
Again, Whirly is just doing a great job of saying, you can start a dragon, we'll take a turret, and Zayu's in trouble.
Oh, Zayu has to be dropping here again. Last auto attack from Adri. Here comes the Jinx getting excited, but it's only that tanky Livic in the way. Quick draw over the wall from Celaver, and they will just be losing the jungler to this one.
Reason just have not been able to get their composition working for them. They haven't been able to take a team fight, and Peppinero comes in, doesn't get all the damage he wants on to Take Fun, but Whirly is taking point. Frederick gets stunned underneath both of the Nexus turrets. This is going wrong for Giants, but they've already taken the middle turret. This is their job done. Now it's time to evacuate, or just pick up Take Fun as well. That's also fine. Adri heads onto Celaver. Big crit sends him packing back to base. That's an inhibitor and the Baron from that engage, and There is just nothing that Reason can do right now engaging into Giants. They have got so much catch potential that without Reason making a fully committed push here, this could just be a Nexus turret.
Oh, Livic comes in with a 4-man knockup, but there's no one to follow up. There's no Yasuo on your team. And Zayu, he can't do all the damage he needs to repel the assault. Eventually, they get worn down.
Yeah, Giants cannot continue this push. They are too low. A reminder that after 420, no regeneration on Baron. It is just the extra pushing potential and the enhanced recall with the damage as well. Still gives you a lot. Doesn't give you regeneration.
Still 40 AD and AP.
Yeah, so at this point, Giants had to back away, but they are in such a good spot right now. You can see how much gold they had as well. Adri sitting on 2,500 gold, and when he's 3 items already, he's so far ahead, and is just melting anything that is in the sights of that Gatling gun.
Yeah, he still hasn't bought anything yet. Looks like he's picked up the last Whisper. Now heading towards his defensive item, has the Spectre's Cowl. No doubt it will probably be a Banshee's Veil as we head later into this game, but now 8,000 gold advantage. Now it's getting serious for Giants, and Reason Gaming really have to step up to the plate. After that early advantage, they've really just kind of, you know, sat back and let Giants do what they want with them.
And that is not something you can do against the Spaniards. Giants are very good at being proactive around the map. They're very aggressive from that mid lane role, and finally Pepinero started to get himself back into this game. He was not looking shaky, I wouldn't say that, but certainly hadn't found his groove. That maybe that was just the first game on the stage, had to get that out of his system. He's now got himself the 3 kills, got himself a whole bunch of items as well, and he is very strong right now.
So now we have to look at Reason and see what their saving graces are, because now Giants, their jungle, or the Reason's jungle is now Giants' jungle with all that vision control, but they're hanging on.
They are hanging on. One thing that is going to tear them to pieces, though, is Jax just picked up a Guardian Angel. There is going to be nobody on the side of Reason that can sit against him in one of the other lanes. And you can see Giants are just going to work this exactly as we predicted coming out of Champion Select. As Jax, I think he's going to, he should go to the mid lane. There would be no reason for Jax to go with the team right now, because the rest of the team should be able to disengage, especially with Kuban in mid.
Yeah, well, Kuban is in mid lane, but he's not doing a great job of clearing out these minions. He's chasing after Wordy B with Zayu coming in from the left-hand side. This is full collapse now coming out from Reason Gaming. But the wall jump over the wall, and now they just have to juggle the rest of the team from Giants, who will take away the top turret.
A little bit of mistiming, no minion wave, but they knew they weren't under pressure to be killed.
Oh, that damage! Zayu almost falls to a small combo from Pepinero, and he has to go back to base, and there's only a couple seconds before that's online again from Pepinero. Jumps over the wall, looking for more. Take Fun comes in, lands the Ice Shard, but doesn't get anything else.
And that's one of the problems here with this Lulu, is without, using her ultimate on herself, without building tanky, she just falls to somebody like Pepinero, who is just going to obliterate her as soon as that tether lands.
So, trying now just to clear out the minion wave desperately is the game for Reason. And again, Pepinero, every time his ultimate is on or off cooldown, he'll be looking to combo someone out of the game. Celaver only needs to put one step forwards and he'll be dead, and so will his team's chances of taking game one.
The chances of Reason taking, and this is slightly off point, but the next dragon is actually mid lane, another engage.
Adri does get ulted here by Take Fun, but the ultimate is already used. He will be using the Zhonya's on himself, but he goes down. The AD carry is still alive. Adri is still able to offer damage. Sevla comes off to the side, and Lipic is trying to punt everyone away from him, but a big super mega death rocket, and the zap comes in. Pepinero gets CC, but it doesn't matter. Collateral damage onto Federi, takes a kill in return, but there's a Jax to meet him over the wall. Kuban has to do some sort of miracle play, but he picks up one. Now looking towards Adri, doesn't land the wallop, doesn't land the boulder toss. Adri has the moves, and Ryder will be CCing him down. Kuban cannot get the wallop out. A 4 for 2.
Another engage where Reason look to go aggressive. This is just going to be game.
Yeah, there's a Jax on your Nexus, and there's nothing you can do about it. Zayu tries his best, but this will be game one, going to Giants in this first best of 3 here at the EULCS expansion tournament.
And if there was ever any doubt of the question, did Giants prepare for this, they knew exactly what was going to happen in picks and bans, and they say, we'll give you Nah, we'll put Whirly B on Jax.
Yeah, absolutely insane, and that went exactly how they wanted it to. We saw in Champion Select how they were just like, pick. They knew exactly what they wanted. Reason Gaming, they were thrown off their game from minute 1.
And that is not something you'd expect from a team with that much experience. 3 former LCS players, and this lineup has been strong in Challenger. We'll see whether they can bounce back going into Game 2.
And we'll see what our analyst desk thinks about it. So we're going to shoot it over to Shox and the rest of the guys at the analyst desk.